Drew Monahan, Russ Wiley, Jim Coyne.
The Friendly Sons of St. Patrick started on March 17th, 1771. Just a few dozen people back in a local tavern in Philadelphia, right off of Delaware Avenue.
And I believe that the Friendly Sons is the oldest continuing Irish-American society in the United States.
That's correct.
What's particularly unique about the Friendly Sons is that it was set up and it embraced both Catholic and Protestant members.
They were by no means made welcome. Signs would appear, help wanted, no Irish need apply. The know-nothings were in the power and in great extent on this East Coast, and they were burning Catholic churches here in Philadelphia. If you look at the cathedral in Philadelphia, you'll see that there's no windows at the ground level. Why? Because they figured if they put in stained glass windows, they'd be broken. Well, you have in Philadelphia, I think, a unique setup. We have what we call the colonial societies. You have one that the Scottish people had. You have one that the English had, you have one that the Welsh had, and you have one that the Irish had. These colonial, German society also, that's correct. These colonial societies were set up prior to the independence of this country, when we were still a colony, by people that had come here from the various countries, made their mark, and then as people from those countries came in, they met them at the boat and helped them to get a foothold in this country.
Housing, jobs, healthcare to some degree when there was a need for that and a lack thereof in families that have just arrived here. Many of the early, if not almost all of the early people in the Friendly Sons of St. Patrick were prominent people in the Philadelphia area. Not only prominent in the military, which they were prominent businessmen. They owned shipping lines, they owned ships and warehouses and buildings, so they had the wherewithal to maybe provide jobs to some people, to provide financial support.
We were coming up on the 150th anniversary of a catastrophic event that swept through Ireland, 1845 to 1850. It's referred to erroneously as the famine, that the Friendly Sons might want to do something to commemorate that here in Philadelphia. So I was asked to head up that particular thing, and I said, well, before I do, let's get a feel for what people think it actually was. So it was at a board meeting, and there were 11 of us there, and I just said, just write on a piece of paper, one paragraph, what you think this was all about. And all but one said, well, the potato crop failed and famine swept Ireland, everybody died. Jerry Kelly, who was one of our past vice presidents, he died while he was in office. He was somewhat of a historian himself, and he wrote down what it really was. It was not a famine at all, it was a starvation. Ireland was exporting food while her people were starved to death. And we thought that this would be a good thing, a good way to tell people what really happened. And the Friendly Sons of St. Patrick put up $100,000 seed money to get the project underway, and it's down at Front and Chestnut right now.
We have our first meeting of the year in January, and then March, then June, and September. And then they are business meetings and social gatherings. And we plugged in 2 other purely social group gatherings, which are one at Christmas and one in the spring.